SCP-106, the Old Man versus 682, the hard to destroy reptile, or the Tarrasque. Honestly, I think the Tarrasque is going to win. I'm not a huge 682 fanboy, but I do like him better than the Old Man. The Old Man has some cool dimensional things going on. I really love the animations that happened when I watched Jordan Productions animation with the Plague Doctor taking all the powers, and him and the fight between 106 was epic, man. But I gotta say, I still think the Tarrasque is gonna win out of this. We're gonna check it out, guys. This one's by SCP Illustrated. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to mine if you like reaction videos too. Let's get into this one. Here we go.
The smell of death and rot filled the beast's cell as the mangled corpse of a woman fell through the ceiling. She was covered in a black substance that ate away at her flesh as he crept forward to investigate. A quick sniff confirmed what he already knew. A sound like wet mud began to echo around his cell as the walls began to bleed a thick tar.
Not today, old man.
SCP-682 squared his shoulders and charged at the cell door. Despite several inches of tungsten and reinforced concrete, the door buckled and broke. He easily barged his way through the secondary containment gates and sprinted down the nearest corridor, eager to put as much distance between the old man and himself as possible. SCP-682 had no intention of paying hell a visit.
Yeah, I guess
As
not.
he attempted to navigate the endless corridors, he saw the old man's handiwork everywhere. Crippled bodies lying in puddles of
I'm guessing it was
blood,
a containment breach?
faces contorted in petrified agony.
Ugh.
He slammed through a wall and found himself falling down an elevator shaft. He dug his claws into the walls and began to claw his way to the surface. His blood ran cold as he looked up to see SCP-106 standing horizontal on the wall, looking down at him. He froze.
Leave me alone,
He demanded. The iconic smile of the old man formed across his face, usually the last thing a person saw before death took them.
Yep.
His face disappeared into a conglomeration of corrosive fluid that detached from the wall and hurtled towards SCP-682.
He ain't leaving him alone.
The beast felt his face liquefy like butter in a hot pan as the acid washed over him. He screamed in agony and felt the flesh around his mouth crack and split.
Acid does
A
hurt.
solution of melted flesh and bone
682.
ran down his throat. He fell away from the wall and plummeted down the elevator shaft.
But he's hard to kill. One would say he's unkillable.
The beast pulled himself out of the rubble and looked upwards. There was no way he was reaching either the elevator shaft or the other several floors he had crashed through on his descent. He was in some kind of storage room. Crates were piled high and all covered in the same black substance. He turned to see the old man casually sitting on one of the boxes, head tilted at an angle, with a smile on his face.
You gotta admit he's strong.
I have waited so long for this moment. Leave me alone. I have heard so many titles for you. The steed that death will ride into the apocalypse. One of the Scarlet King's children.
The voices are so good too. It gives me the chills, man.
Which one are you?
All of them.
All of them. I think we both know you aren't the devil.
The beast suddenly fell through the floor into a bubbling black whirlpool. 682 roared in defiance and sunk his claws into the floor and began trying to claw himself back out. He could feel the acid beginning to work its way through his lower body. And then just as suddenly, he was falling through the air.
Man, he seems kind of helpless right now, right?
Immediately on soft grass. He took a few moments to center himself as the sun shone brightly on his face. The thought was interrupted almost immediately as a massive glowing sword came down on his hindquarters.
Uh-oh, is that Uriel?
No.
Yeah.
682 said. He started to run further into the garden, trailing blood as he went. Our Lord has declared you unwelcome in the garden. I will see to your removal.
Dang it, Uriel, you already killed me.
Holding the sword raised a hand, and 682 was lifted off the ground.
You have corrupted his greatest creation. Leave this place and never return.
682's limbs flailed uselessly in the air, then suddenly he was hurtling out and away from paradise.
We're 682, man.
He landed on soft grass again. The sun shone brightly once more.
The hell?
And then a massive glowing sword came down on his hindquarters. Our Lord has declared you unwelcome in the garden. I will see to your removal. 682 didn't run this time. He closed his eyes as he was lifted up and
He's in
hurtled
some
through
sort
the
of
air once
loop?
again.
That's
He
horrible.
landed. Our Lord has declared you unwelcome.
Fucking hell.
The old man chuckled at the sight. The lizard had a strange mind, but was not wholly unreadable. This garden was the site of the creature's greatest regret, and its greatest source of sorrow. But the beast was already adapting to this too. Wait, is the beast sleeping now? Through torment?
Through the torment?
This wouldn't do. The old man let the scene dissolve away, and he looked down at the pitiful creature from atop his throne.
So he's trying to
682
torture
landed
him
hard on the
mentally.
stone floor and bounced twice before coming to a rest. Then it opened its eyes, looked up at the old man.
Oh, he's coming out the retaliation,
682
baby.
pounced on 106 and began bludgeoning him, each strike tearing strips from his fists. 682 struck again, and again, and again. Brain matter, concrete, and shattered skull fragments flew outwards like shrapnel, until 682 finally ceased his assault. He fell backwards and took some deep breaths. The headless body of the old man lay there.
Jesus, it's pudding.
But just as the beast thought his duel was over, it began again. The corpse was swallowed up by the black tar, and a renewed, whole old man stepped out from a wall.
That's how it works.
The old man sneered.
I expected more.
SCP-682 dug deep and vomited acid at the man.
Ugh.
SCP-106 stepped to the side. The acid went soaring through past the old man and came splashing down on the beast from another portal the old man had opened in the ceiling above him. 682 roared from the pain and lunged at the old man once more. 106 opened another gateway and a serrated rock formation came shooting upwards, impaling the reptile. The old man stepped forward, dodging the flailing limbs, and began to sink his hand through the flesh and into the beast's chest cavity.
Jeez.
682 felt the withered, blistering hand grip his heart and then tear it out.
God.
He turned to look at the old
dang.
man. This time he was sporting the smile.
Pathetic.
682 jolted his entire body to the right, breaking free from the rock and impaling the old man on his tail in the process. He smashed him into the floor, and the old man quickly sunk into it. 682 spun around looking for where he would appear from next. Several new eyes formed on his head, all looking outward for their target.
I thought you wanted more.
He got it.
682 saw a puddle beginning to spread out to his right. By the time the old man had only just managed to get his head and shoulders out, 682 was already on him. A quick snap of the jaws and the old man was reforming and ascending from another portal.
Man,
Again,
it's like he could just
682 was
reform.
there
They
waiting
both
for
very
him.
hard to kill.
The old man proceeded to open up several dozen portals to confuse the reptile, but he was welcomed by tendrils ready at each one. He was quickly ensnared and brought to the reptile's
682
face.
strong, man.
The old man's acid ate away much more slowly now at the beast's skin. A second tendril
He's
suddenly
adapting.
fired towards the old man and forced its way down his throat,
Oh.
splitting his jaw with a wet crack. He
Oh.
felt it spinning around inside as if he had swallowed a blender.
Enough.
The old man shouted as he reformed again. He opened a massive portal in the storage room and both 682 and all the contents began to sink into it.
What is that?
A piercing scream suddenly came blaring from the PA system. The unmistakable sound of a young man in the most agonizing pain. 106's dinner bell was ringing. He
Yeah.
closed the portal, bisecting the reptile, and looked down at him.
You hear that? Broken femur. So,
God.
and in so much pain. So much adrenaline.
They spoil me sometimes.
They spoil me
That's his calling bell,
682
bruh.
coughed up blood and bile and clawed his way away from the pool that was still eating away at his belly. 106 waved his hand and corrosive fluid began to creep along the ceiling, burrowing up and throughout the concrete.
Until our next dance, then.
The sound of cracking and grinding rock echoed around the walls as 682 looked up at the heavy stone slabs. The old man gave the beast a smile and disappeared as the ceiling collapsed.
Wow. Man. The old man kind of made a mess with 682, huh? I really thought he would have been, I really
that
thought
concludes the
682
century. I really
would have
hope
been
we-
stronger than that. I really did. One thing about 682 is outside of him being very, very hard to kill, he's just a reptile, right? I mean, he adapts really well and stuff, but he doesn't have any crazy powers like 106, and I didn't really think about that. It's, you know, I don't know. He's iconic, but maybe outmatched in this match. At any rate, this was really, really good, man. Guys, make sure to subscribe to SCP Illustrated. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.